Brandon Kidder. He is with the Family Table Cafe in downtown Auburn Hills. He's joining us on the MegaCast. Good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How's it going? Are things picking up for you?
Yeah, things are going much better now. Um, we're we're starting to see kind of the normal business flow come back. Very busy on the weekends, having a little lull in the mornings on the weekdays, but we're really starting to see business kind of come back to the way it was before the quarantine and everything like that. So things seem to be going great. Obviously, there's some changes with the mask protocol and some of the things like that. But other than that, things are going great, and we couldn't be more blessed.
Are you having issues with people not wanting to wear a mask at all?
So I would say very, very rarely. I mean, maybe five out of 100 guests might not have one on, and we very politely and nicely ask them if they could just we have them here for them as well if they didn't bring one with them. If just put it on until they get to the table, and then they can take it off of the table. It hasn't been a big issue, to be perfectly honest. Right in the beginning, it was a little tricky because people just weren't so used to it. But I'd say over um, the last month or so, we really haven't had any issues with it.
More and more people just becoming accustomed that this is going to be the norm now. Make sure you have your mask. I know you're located in downtown Auburn Hills. Are you worried about the winter time coming and maybe losing some of that traffic or just not being able to service as many customers?
Yeah, that's definitely an area of concern. We do have a beautiful patio out front, and even like on a day like today, we can't necessarily use it because of the weather. But that's been a blessing during this time to kind of people feel, as I understand, a little bit more comfortable being out there with the open air and stuff like that. So it's definitely a concern moving forward. But we're just trying to focus on the things that we can control, and whether that be our carryout service or additional carryout. I'm sorry, catering and stuff like that. So it's definitely a concern, but I'm sure we will be able to get through it somehow.
So, Brandon Kidder with us, the Family Table Cafe. How have things been for you with hiring employees? I understand you're somewhat of a family restaurant, but are you running into an issue of getting employees? And do you anticipate that could get worse with students going back to college?
Yeah, it's that's been our biggest issue is staffing. We tend to have a relatively young staff, so a lot of high school students in the busing and dishwashing and serving positions, and then they just started going back to virtual classes and stuff like that. So staffing has definitely been a big issue for us. It seems over the next couple of weeks we've got some great hires coming in. But it's my dad and I who run the place, and it definitely has looked like us washing dishes and filling in any holes that might need to be filled. But staffing has definitely been tough right now. Yeah.
Brandon Kidder with us from the Family Table Cafe in Auburn Hills, joining us on the Oakland County MegaCast. Brandon, Courtney Casey of Blue Skies Brewery referred to your business as one of the cornerstones of the community in Auburn Hills, and it's been told to us that you seem to be a hub for people in downtown Auburn Hills. How important, especially during the pandemic, has relationship building with other businesses and with the people of Auburn Hills been to the longevity of your business?
It's been incredible. Right when everything hit, it was definitely, as I'm sure for everyone, not just business owners, it was an extremely hard time. But immediately, right off the bat, we saw support from the community. One of the programs we work through is our coffee is all made, or I'm sorry, all produced locally through Avondale High School, which is within a mile of our restaurant. Right when things started to go a little south, they came out and started supporting and buying gift cards and lunches and stuff like that. And then really all of the businesses down here have done a great job of supporting each other, whether it's Courtney and Shannon at the brewery and the wine bar, or some of the other restaurants down here. It's been really awesome to see everyone kind of come together and and support each other as a whole. The community itself, all of our regular guests and stuff like that, supported us during the quarantine, and would come in and get carryouts, and we did some catering for some different hospitals and stuff like that. So yeah, it's an awesome community to be a part of. My dad grew up in Auburn Hills. I grew up 5 minutes over in Rochester, and it's home to us, and it's been nothing but awesome so far. So definitely been cool to see kind of everyone pull together. It's been awesome.
We've made it through the summer, and now the focus is kind of shifting to the fall time. The fear of a second wave with the flu, what would that do to your business if you had to shut down again?
It would be tough, but I do believe that going through that whole process did make the company itself stronger. Gave us confidence that no matter what kind of lies ahead, that we can take it on. Definitely nerve-wracking. Definitely, I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about it. But there's definitely a new level of confidence that with the community that we're in, and our regular guests and our staff, that we will be able to make it through it. I'm sure there'll be new obstacles as we go, just as with the face mask and our new sanitizing policies and stuff like that. Which a lot of those I think are actually helpful for the restaurant industry anyway. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a challenging road ahead, but we're excited for what that might bring.
We've talked to a lot of businesses during this crisis, and so many of them say they've actually learned a thing or two. Is there something that your business and your restaurant has learned during this that you think you will keep going post-pandemic?
Yeah, there's a couple things actually. Number one, we changed up the menu, eliminating some of the things that weren't huge sellers, and then adding on some new creative ideas that we had some time during the quarantine to experiment with different recipes and change some things up, whether that be soups or lunch and breakfast items. And then we also have started to try to look outside the box a little bit, and we're now doing a happy hour special, during the week, 8 to 10 o'clock. We're doing some $5 menu items just to kind of encourage some of the times that we're a little bit slower. So we've definitely, we've tried to go to our social media marketing a little bit more and encourage people to interact with that. And it's definitely been a cool experience doing that. And so those are a few of the things that we've done. We, during the quarantine itself, we started to sell produce bags and stuff like that. Sorry, this is where we had the best internet connection, so don't mind that behind me. I apologize. But yeah, so those are some of the things that we've experimented with.
So Brandon, it's been different for every business, particularly in the restaurant industry, in terms of what they're doing to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in their facilities. So when people go to the Family Table Cafe, what can they expect in terms of the experience to be able to have a similar experience they'd have in normal times, but adjusted for COVID-19?
Yes. So one of the big things, and I would imagine all restaurants are doing this, but we're very high on is the staff getting a temperature check every day. There's also a system that we use where they log in and answer a few questions every morning. Are they feeling well? Do they have a fever? Some generic kind of questions like that. Just making sure that we're kind of ahead of the game and not reacting, but being proactive there. And then as far as so we're trying to do our best on our end, wearing masks. That's non-negotiable. And then our sanitizer procedures, wearing gloves, really trying to just go above and beyond, wiping down all the menus, wiping down the doors when people leave, and making sure that when somebody comes in, they feel comfortable. And then obviously, as far as the customers go, as some people might be a little hesitant to wear a mask, we have no problem asking them to put that mask on when they enter, and making sure that there's no loopholes there. So we're doing everything we can, staying as clean as we can, and trying our best.
Brandon Kidder with us, the Family Table Cafe in downtown Auburn Hills. And I've been checking out your social media over the last couple of days. You seem to have such a wide variety on your menu. How do you come up with some of the new dishes and what to serve? Because they are somewhat of a twist on some of the classics.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and thank you for the compliment. Uh, we have an incredible staff. Right now I'm kind of working in a few different departments, but I'm in the kitchen right now, and my dad also is the lead baker, so he does all of our scones and pastries, biscuits, soups, everything like that. So everything, primarily everything in the restaurant is made from scratch, and I think we have a really cool environment that's very open and allows for people to kind of bring up creative ideas. And we try not to shoot any of that down. We'd rather, whether it's our ricotta raspberry French toast or our avocado toast or any of our deep fried Monte Cristo, any of those sort of things, it might have just been a staff idea. They brought it to the table. We tried it. The staff tried it. We would roll it out to some of our guests, and if people like it, we bring it on. So we try to keep those creative juices flowing. And much of the staff's been here for the last 4 years, and it makes for an environment that we don't really shoot down ideas like that, and we encourage the creative side.
That's so awesome. What's it like to work with your family, though?
It's been an awesome experience. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a challenge. My dad and I, not to get too deep into us, but we've been together as most parents are with their kids. But my dad was a teacher of mine in middle school. I then moved on to high school, and he was one of my assistant principals. And now we're business partners. So we've always kind of been together in some sense. So we have a good baseline of understanding of, when we say a certain thing, there's no disrespect meant. My mom also helps out on the weekends as a server. So it's definitely a challenge. Don't get me wrong there. But we have a good relationship amongst each other, and I never thought I'd be in this position, but I couldn't be happier with kind of the direction of my life and the direction of the restaurant and family and stuff like that. So it's been amazing.
So for those that have never been to your restaurant that are watching and listening to this right now, they want to go, what's the number one thing they should try on your menu?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we'll give you the top three.
That's like picking between your kids. Okay, so I'm not necessarily the culinary expert here. I try to kind of stay in the front of house. I'm helping out in the kitchen now because some staffing issues. But I have one thing that I've added to the menu, and that's a honey and apple grilled cheese. It's got sourdough bread, 2 pieces of mozzarella, 2 pieces of provolone, a little bit of mozzarella, some basil, some bacon, and then a drizzle of honey over it. It's a nice balance of like sweet and savory. So I have to, since that's mine, that has to be number one. And then kind of the things that we're known for is our breakfast burrito, which is, a little different than like your stereotypical one. It's or standard one. Sorry, wrong word. But it's got some chorizo in it that is delicious and savory. And then we have a veggie breakfast bowl that has some goat cheese on it, which is a little off the, not super standard, and some avocado, some homemade potatoes under there. And then I would say, so those three, so veggie bowl, the honey apple grilled cheese, and the breakfast burrito. And then I think what really helps us stand above the rest as far as our level of restaurant is all of our baking's in-house. So, whether it's our homemade scones or biscuits, or we do a cool little thing called a monkey bread, which is like a little pull-apart dough. It's cinnamon sugar tossed. So those are some of the things that I think if you come to the family table, you got to try a pastry. And then maybe one of those 3 items. Those are 3 of my favorites. So some different stuff, but they've been working and we enjoy it.
The Family Tree Cafe is definitely on my must-visit list this week. How's it been for you all with the supply chain? Are you able to get the supplies and the food that you need? I know in the beginning that wasn't a big issue, but it seems like things are easing up now.
That's 100% correct. Yeah, in the beginning it was tough. There was a lot of whether it be factories or certain companies that weren't producing some of the food we were using in the past. Right now, it's pretty good. I would say the prices of things have definitely risen. So that's something that we're trying to kind of balance as far as we don't want to, raise our prices too far up, but we are trying to kind of take that into account as far as the menu price goes. But yeah, in the beginning, right when we came back, from quarantine, there was some issues there as far as getting specific products. But at this point, it's been pretty good. So things seem to kind of be back to normal. Like I said, the biggest issue or the biggest obstacle as far as that's concerned is just the pricing of specific goods going up. But nothing we can handle.
Brendan Kidder with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. Brendan, just another couple minutes with you before we let you go. Anything else that you'd like our audience to know about the Family Table Cafe, or anything else that you'd like to discuss today?
I'd like to just point out, and I know I kind of brought it up in the beginning, but our community is amazing. I know you guys already talked to Courtney and Shannon. I would just encourage people to come to the very small block by block downtown Auburn Hills area that we have. Our government is very involved, whether it's the city mayor or the manager. Very supportive, very open to ideas, allow us to really succeed in the area. So that's something that's been really dear to our hearts. And yeah, I'd love for people to come check us out. Excited to get back to a full restaurant and be able to service as many people as possible. So that's about all.
Brandon Kidder with us from the Family Table Cafe in downtown Auburn Hills. Looking forward to getting out there, and I will say I think your grilled cheese is going to be my must-order item as I get out there this week. Thanks so much for being with us here on the Oakland County MegaCast.
Thank you so much for having me, and we look forward to seeing you guys. I'll know when you come in when I see that honey apple hit the board. So thank you again so much, and you guys have an awesome day.